it was 8.
So
1 and then 8. And
So 3 plus 3 plus 2.
we're coming out together.
Okay.
All right.
Never done
So
that.
I heard some interesting strategies kind of coming by walking around to the different groups, and I spent a little bit of extra time with Yanessa, Carla, and Jenny. And I'm gonna have Yanessa, can you share the strategy that Jenny used to figure out how many dots there were?
Yeah, and I can't
Pause.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Why did you ask Yanessa to share what Jenny shared?
So I thought that Jenny had a strategy that other people in the room might have, so I wanted to start with hers so that we could build some connection. I also wanted Yanessa to share Jenny's idea because she would have to understand Jenny's strategy in order to share it out.
Great.
And if I stumble over this, it's because Jenny's strategy was just not mine. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, I still don't even, that's just not how I would approach it. So Jenny saw two groups of 3, right? So within the dots, like there's a group of 3
So you're
sets
moving
and
your
3
hand
sets.
up and down
Yep,
like this.
right.
So she looked at this was one column.
Right? And then 1 on the far side, so that would be the second column, right?
Okay,
And then added 8 from the center.
8 from the center.
Right.
So she looked at the columns. So you're saying there were 3 groups of 4 here, and how many does that total?
12.
12.
So 12 and 12 plus
12
8.
plus 8.
Right.
So we can do 12 plus 12
It's very similar. Yep.
equals
32.
32. Okay. Did anyone else have that same strategy that Jenny used in order to find, by looking at the columns? CD, you had that same strategy? Okay. What was interesting was this group had a couple of different strategies. Let's hear from them, and I want you to think about, did you also use that same strategy? Jenny, do you want to share Carla's strategy?
Carla said that if you had dots in the middle too, that there would be 36 total, because she said there would be 9 groups, and then she said 36 minus 4 gave her 32.
Okay. So you're saying, how many would need to be in the center right here?
4.
4. So if we had another group of 4, so she was thinking about if this was complete, you could take 36 minus that group of 4, and that also equals 32. I'm hearing Nancy say that she used that strategy. Did anyone else use that strategy?
Nancy.
We're trying to be different.
Nancy,
I didn't know I was being different.
I was trying to be
9
different.
times. I did it, like she did it like if it were complete, and then I did it like if it were empty. So I knew there were 9, I went down 1, she knew there was 9 multiplied, to get 36, add 1 down.
So she did 9 minus 1 is 8
Times 4.
Interesting. Okay. Carla, did you hear that? What they were talking about
Could
over
they
here?
could they repeat it?
And Carla comments points.
We were sharing math strategy.
I know.
Carla just asked you to.
Yes. And so I did 9 groups minus the one that is missing to get 8. Because Nancy did 9 times the 4, I just saw what was missing, so I took it away
So
already.
you knew automatically. You knew that if you took 9, subtracted 1, that would be 8 groups.
And then multiply it times 4.
And then you could use those 8 groups. 8
Times 4.
times 4 equals
32.
32. Okay, interesting. We have time for just one more strategy. We've heard a lot from this group. I'm going to see if anyone else has, any of the other groups have another strategy. Any other strategies?
I noticed that it was in the shape of a square, in a square with the groups of 4. So I just counted from like around to make the shape of the square. Yeah, so I just did like one group of 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times 4.
Okay, this is called a perimeter. So if you went around the perimeter.
Yep.
Okay. And what would that look like if I were to write this out?
8 times 4.
8 times 4. All right. So today we were looking at a bunch of different, or we were looking at different ways that we could represent the number 32, and how we saw different groups of, And how we saw, and how we each figured out how many dots we could see. We knew that there were multiple different ways we could use addition, such as the way that ENS used. We could use multiplication, like Michelle. And we could look at these images in different ways, but we could all still see the same number. And we'll be practicing this again every day as a quick fun activity. And see. All right.